Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to this very short little video on some of the features you really should know about that come with Windows 11 that are well worth thinking about that upgrade. My name is Danny and I'm from Cyclone, and as I said, we're just going to cover a few little things here that may entice you into looking into getting Windows 11. One of the first features, of course, is that the whole taskbar has changed quite dramatically. It is now in the middle of the screen down here, and you can move it back to the left if that really bugs you, but I'm really enjoying it having it in the middle of the screen. So we have our taskbar at the bottom there, and we still have our little Windows key here which opens up our Start menu. The Start menu, I believe, has been far more simplified, which is nice. It's a lot less crowded, which is great as well. Don't forget, you can just use the Windows key on your keyboard. That will also open up your Start menu. A lot less cluttered, but you still have the option to sort of scroll through some of your most common or pinned apps. At the top here, you can still click on all apps here and scroll through all of those. So I might go down here and find my Minecraft Education. There it is. I can now perform a right mouse click on that, and I can pin that back into my Start. So now when I click on the Start menu here, I will have my Minecraft Education sitting in my all apps or my pinned apps. I can even move that to the top by doing a right mouse click, and if I scroll back up there, and you can just drag and drop these around as well. So if you don't like having a really crowded taskbar, but you want to have access to things quickly, you have your most common stuff down here at the bottom in the taskbar here, or you can have things inside this pinned area here. So maybe I've got PowerPoint pinned in here as well, all the things that you find really useful. But now I've got my Minecraft there. I will scroll across to it, right click, and under there is also the pin to the taskbar. So I can now just drag that across, have it nestled right there next to my other version of Minecraft as well. So the Start menu has been simplified in some ways, but I find it a lot easier to navigate. You've still got access to your power buttons down here for shutting down and restarting and so on as well. And don't forget that you can just use that Windows key on your keyboard to get into that Start menu. And yeah, it's much more graphically, I don't know, pleasing to the eyes anyway. Right, the next little thing is one of my most favourite improvements, I must say, and it's Windows snapping. So Windows snapping has always been the ability to, I guess, use the Windows and the arrow keys to kind of snap things to the side of the screen and sort of help you lay out your screen a bit better. This is really great if you're on a laptop not plugged into other screens, so you can make best use of the one screen that you have. But there's some really neat features in it now. So let's imagine I'm doing some writing here, and I really want a couple of other windows alongside with some of my ideas and my images. Now what happens, if I hover over the maximize button, I'll just zoom in for you up here, over the far left over here, rather than just having the option to maximize or make it full screen, it's given me some different snapping options. Now you can also do this with the Windows Z key. So Windows Z also brings up that little menu. So I would really love to have this Word document in the middle of my screen, so I click on that, and now it starts giving me options for all the other windows that I might want to put on the left. So I've got my OneNote here with some images ready to go, which is pretty cool. And then on the right hand side, I've got some synonyms brought up here. Here we go, for other words for Stormy that might be useful in my writing as well. And so now I've got that all docked ready to go, which is really fantastic. But here's the really cool part. After a while, I shrink all that away, I've done something else, I've come back to it, and I think I'd really love to go back to that lovely three-tiered snapping windows there. If I hover over any of the apps that I have currently put into that snap, not only do I get the option for opening just that app, I also have on the right of that, it will have its snapped windows. So all three of them, I click on that again, and now I'm straight back to where I was. So that Windows snapping, Windows Z brings that up, so you can choose some of those options there. There's obviously 2 things on the screen at once, 3 things on the screen at once, even going to 4 if you like. I find that at the moment one of my most favourite features of Windows 11. It's been really, really fantastic. Alright, another feature which is not completely new, but has certainly got some really great enhancements, is the Windows desktops. So this little button here is the ability to go into my desktop. So I'll just zoom in for you there, that little tiny button there. Or I've always used desktops by using the Windows and the Tab key. Windows Tab also brings up all my desktops here. And I've got one for personal at the moment. I'm doing some personal stuff on YouTube over here. I've got my one for Cyclone work. I'll just get rid of this one here. Let's imagine that I now wanted to create a new desktop because I wanted to now present on another screen and I didn't want any of my other things popping up while I was presenting on that screen. So I've clicked a new desktop there. I can right mouse click that. I can choose a background, and maybe I think it'd be better to have a background that won't kind of distract people from what I'm doing and things like that. So I can change the background on that desktop. And the other thing I can do is I can rename that. So I might rename that desktop presentation, and using the Windows and the period or the full stop key, I can bring up my emotes. There we go. And there we go, make it a little bit more of an interesting title there as well. So now I've got this presentation screen. I can bring up, I guess, PowerPoint on this one here. There we go, bring up my dinosaurs presentation. And now that's not going to get in the way. If I'm Alt-tabbing around, there's no other windows that are open on this particular desktop. My Outlook isn't open. All the other work that I was working on the other desktops isn't there. I can simply go back to my desktops and just swap around back to my Cyclone desktop here. Nice and simple, really easy, which is great. So the desktops, the real gains there are the ability to name the desktops and to simply right click and change backgrounds. So it makes it really easy to see when you are swapping back and forth between different desktops. And I really am a big fan of those desktops now. And the last little feature I wanted to show you today, and just a quick little run through of some of my favourite features. There's so much more than this, but I just wanted to show you some of my favourite ones here, is the new Dictation. So often in a lot of the Microsoft apps, we've been used to having this wonderful dictate option. It just gets better and better. You can talk into it and it'll write down everything you say. This is, even worked with students that you wouldn't think perhaps they have speech impairments or whatever. That still works really, really well with them. But now what happens, if you use Windows and the H key, that will automatically turn on the Windows Dictation tool, which will automatically start typing in whatever I say. Windows H will stop that again. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This little Windows H, I can bring up anywhere. It doesn't matter what software I'm in, Notepad, Word, OneNote, doesn't matter at all. But what's really, really cool in the new version of Windows 11 here is that you can turn on this thing called auto punctuation. Let's try this out now and see if I can start doing a story and if it will start putting in some of that punctuation for me. Windows H to get started. It was a dark and stormy evening. I slowly trudged through the deep, sludgy mud. Should I have really been out in this weather? Only time will tell. And you can see there it's added my full stops, it added in my question mark. This is just, I've been using this personally for work. This is really outstanding. So some of my favourite features here today definitely have to be that new snapping, some of the little features in Windows Desktop, but the new Dictation as well. Look, Windows 11 is available now. It's obviously an upgrade. Any new computers will come with it, but it is possible for most computers now to upgrade to Windows 11, and it just really is worth it. So talk to your tech people, and maybe it's an option that you can get into, because there's some really great features that I highly recommend. I'll be putting out some videos later on with much more of the wonderful features and how they integrate, but for now that's just a little sneak peek into some of the great features in Windows 11. Ka kite, thank you for watching.